Hi there. Let's say you want to send some marketing messages to your customers, and there are three ways to do so. First is you can send a generic message to everyone. However, the problem with this approach is that the message will be too generic and it might not get attention of your customer. The second approach is to send a customized message to each and every customer. However, this approach is too detailed and it requires too much of work. And third, and the most intelligent approach is to create segments of customers and then send messages to these target segments. So customer segmentation is the process of making that segment or group of customers who have similar interests so that we can then send a message to that similar interest group of customers. So the business case I have for you today is we would like to create customer segmentation in order to send some targeted messages. And I'm going to take the data which is related to a telecommunication company. So this data has got information related to the customer. It has got customer demographics, as well as it has got information related to the different services which this customer has, as well as it has also got information related to the monthly charges and the total charges which the customer is paying. Now, one way we can group all these customers together or create segments is using a clustering algorithm. And this clustering algorithm will put all the customers into different segments. And here, as an example, I've created 3 segments or 3 clusters. And you can see that each customer is assigned to each and every segment. So here we have 3 segments: the blue segment, the green segment, and the orange segment. And we can also see a bar plot of number of customers who are assigned to each and every segment. You can see that this is a very equal distribution. We have equal number of customers in each of these segments. Now, it's good to create these segments, but it is also important to interpret what does this segment mean. And we can use a radar plot which will help us interpret this segment. So for example, let's take the cluster 0, the segment 0. You can see that these customers have got all the services. So they have internet services, they have online backup, they have streaming TV, movies, they have almost all the services. Now, if you see the cluster 1, which has got only the internet services, and you see the cluster 2, which is the blue one, it has got only the phone services. So based on this, we can now interpret the segment. So segment 0 corresponds to the fully loaded customers who have all the services. The segment 1 corresponds to the customers who moderately spend and they are just internet focused, they just have internet based services. And then you have segment 2, which is the bare bone customers who have just phone services. Now, as we know what does these segments mean, we can now create a message for each of these segments. So the segment 0 is the power users. They have all the services. So we can create a message such that, first of all, thanking them for being the power users. And then we can provide them some early access to a new feature such as Ultra HD streaming, which might be coming soon. The segment 1, which corresponds to the moderate spend customers who are just focused on internet. So we can offer them some discounts so that they can buy some additional functionalities such as streaming TV or tech support. And the segment 2 is only the bare bone customers who have just phone services. And for them, we can bundle internet and phone with a very interesting price so that they can also buy internet services also. Now, let's do a quick knowledge check just to see if you understood the process of customer segmentation. The first question is, what is customer segmentation? And I'll give you a few seconds, not few seconds, just 1 second to answer. Okay, so it is the process of dividing customers into distinct groups based on similar characteristics. So if you got this right, well done. Now, the second question, why it is useful to perform this customer segmentation? I'll give you 1 second to think. All right, the answer is it allows businesses to send target marketing messages to these specific customer groups. Third question, why it is important to interpret these segments or clusters? And I'll give you 1 second to think. All right, you have your 1 second. So it helps to understand what are the characteristics of these segments so that we can later on send targeted messages to these segments.